Hey everybody, happy Thursday. And you know what? There's nothing better than a real story. And that's what I've been doing the last few days, and I'm going to continue to do, is I'm going to give you a real story about real people. How's that? Okay, so today's one a day is break from the herd or meet the butcher. Okay, now understand something. We're doing a one a day today, but next Wednesday, I'm starting a 3-part series that I'm going to tell you something. I'm really proud of it, and I hope that you'll be proud of it, okay? But I want to talk about a conversation that I had with a beautiful lady outside of New York today, okay? And she called me about a friend of hers that called me just 2 weeks ago. Now, this gentleman calls me and says, guess what? I've been diagnosed with not just inflammatory prostate, but they believe that it's cancerous. So I took 20 minutes and I explained to him where prostate cancer comes from, where inflammatory prostate comes from. And where does it come from? It comes from, if you don't know about your large intestine, it starts off at the cecum, comes up, the ascending colon, cross the transverse under the ribs, then coming down on your left side, the descending colon, and then it takes a quick turn over and then comes down about 4 inches. And that 4 inches is called your sigmoid, and then here's your rectum. Now, right here, this part where it comes down to your anus, your prostate sits right behind it. So just think if you're like the majority, which is 9,999 people out of 10,000, every day you sit down and you go, I think I could just have a little bit more I could squeeze out, but it doesn't come out. I don't care if you believe this or not, and I will come up against any medical doctor anywhere, and I will meet them on my show to prove that your large intestine is the holy grail of 95% or more of all diseases, and it causes 99% of all prostate problems, uteral problems, ovarian problems, fallopian tube problems, bladder problems, and even when you can't get it up. So the reality is I told him that he was rotting. I told him that the fecal waste in his large intestine was getting caught on the sigmoid colon. And he said, you know what? I have good bowel movements. I talked to him for another few minutes, and then we established that, guess what? He found out that he was only pooping by himself, so he was comparing his own pooping, which he found out that he wasn't a good pooper. Okay, so now he understands he's not a good pooper, and now he understands that the fecal waste was actually causing the inflammation. Why? Because the waste was getting stagnated and it was rotting, causing bad bacteria, which is called endobacterium, that give off a gas that irritates the lining, which is only a cell thick. And then we start absorbing our own poop. And where's it going to go? It's going to go down into the bowl of the pelvis where the prostate is. And because the prostate sits right behind, right up against, guess what? It's going to get attacked with more waste. Sometimes I think that God played a silly little joke on us, don't you? Ovaries, uterus, prostate, bladder. But guess what? He didn't. God did that because that was to inflame us and let us know that we're rotting inside. And guess what? Did you ever notice the medical system? They attack the large intestine. They don't protect it. Yeah, they do. What do you think antibiotics do? Antibiotics are chemo. So this gentleman, because of the inflammation in his prostate, went on 4 rounds of antibiotics, which totally wiped out the good bacteria, which created more rotting. And so now with the rotten waste, he's rotting out his prostate. So guess what? This was like 2-3 weeks ago. She calls me up and says, right now he's in a hospital and he's bleeding from his bowels. And I said, yeah, well, what do you think? Anybody that has a prostate problem, the bacteria has been eating away at the lining of the last part of the large intestine. So now he's got ulcerations in there and blood's coming out. Yeah, but he's really scared. Can he call you? I said, of course he can call me. But guess what? You're going to pick the therapies and you're going to only take the action, the personal action, depending on how much self-love you have. People aren't bad, but their beliefs are bad. And I'll tell you, until you embrace total self-love and you learn how to honor, respect yourself, you will not have enough discipline to look after this body. You will be the one that causes self-destruction on an unconscious level. So make sure you join me next Wednesday for Break from the Herd, okay, or Meet the Butcher. And this show is not what you think. This is one of my most empowering shows. So listen, get off the pain train and get on the self-love train. God bless and have a beautiful day.